Week 1, applying fill and strokes to objects. So a fill is basically the paint characteristics of an object, whereas the stroke is the paint characteristics of a line. So what I've done is went to the ellipse tool, held down the shift key to create a perfect circle. Now I'm going to show you a little shortcut. So if I go back to my selection tool, of course we know now that that will select and deselect my object. If I have my object selected with my selection tool and I hold down the Alt key, do you notice what happens to my cursor? I get kind of this double arrow. So what I'm able to do when I hold the Alt key is to drag a copy. And I'm going to hold Shift to align it just perfect. So I'm going to have just a few circles here. Fast way to make duplications. A little bit more efficient maybe than the copy and the paste. So for each one of my circles here, if I look at my tool bar, I can see I have a fill and a stroke. And by the way, if I press my X key on my keyboard, it will navigate or toggle. It'll flip my fill and my stroke. So you can see how it flips it. So my stroke is forward. When I choose to change color or create a color, it will apply it to the stroke. When I have my fill in the front, it will apply it to the fill. So let's go ahead and open up a couple of panels that are useful. Number one being the swatches panel. Right? And if you don't remember which panel is what, you can just go straight to your window and choose to find swatches. I'm also going to use color, okay, which happens to be up here. Now some of these, and I'm dragging them out of the dock and then putting the dock away. Some of these have the old window shade effect, so they can be minimized, and by double clicking you can see that I can minimize them and expand them. So make sure that you're able to see all of the options when you are looking at a panel. Sometimes people miss things because they don't realize that they're hiding. Okay, so in the color panel here, I'm able to mix my own color. We'll do more of this as we get into future chapters, but this is a way that I can mix my own color, and right now I'm in CMYK mode, so again that stands for cyan, magenta, yellow, and key color typically being black. In my swatches panel, I see a bunch of different color swatches. There should be around 48 present at the moment. I can go ahead and add swatches here. We'll do that in the coming up lessons. I can import. I can, like I said, save. I can delete. I can do all kinds of really fun things here. These are the defaults, and you'll see solid color, and then you'll see some gradients. A gradient is basically a blend between two or more colors, and I also see some patterns, and you can see they're just some sample ones that they've placed in swatches for you. Now I have this box in all of them, and it has a red diagonal through it. I see it over here in tools, I see it over here in color, and I see it in swatches. That is a fill of none. None, N-O-N-E, none, meaning it's transparent. So that allows me to see through. There's no fill. I'm able to see through it. So to apply a color, if I have my object selected, I can just go ahead and click in swatches. It's filling the fill color because that's what's on top. All right? And I can change, I can do whatever I want with that. Now, if I don't have anything selected, I'm going to click outside here so nothing is selected. I can take a color swatch and drag it over top of a non-selected object, and it will fill that way. So a couple of ways I can do that. Have it selected and choose my color, or with it not being selected, with nothing selected, clicking and dragging a color over top. Now it's doing the fill, like I said. I can do the stroke as well. Let's bring the stroke up. Oh, and by the way, I just pressed the D key, D, like dog on my keyboard. What that did is it reverted back to the default of a white fill and a black stroke. So X will toggle back and forth, and D will reset it. Okay? All right, so I'm going to choose a color here. Oops, I need to have something selected. So now I have a bluish stroke on this pink magenta circle. Right now my stroke is only set to 1 point. That's the default. Couple places where I can change my stroke. Up here at the top in this control panel, you can see it says stroke. Oh, and by the way, here's another way that I can change this. So you'll see there are multiple places. Right now on my interface, I see 4 locations where I can change my fill and my stroke. So you are going to find the way that is most comfortable, is easiest for you, and that's probably going to be the way that you're going to do it most of the time. So the stroke though, if I increase the stroke, we always measure stroke in points. If I increase the stroke, you can see the weight of the stroke gets a little bit larger, and I can now see the color. We do have a stroke panel, and I'll bring it open here. So again, this is one of those that has a lot of potential options, but here just for simplicity we're looking at the weight. This is where I can also alter the weight. You notice it changes up here. They're connected. It's the same thing.